To our top story then, Singapore's Prime Minister's office says the office of the Leader of the Opposition will remain vacant until the Workers' Party is ready to nominate someone. The government has accepted the WP's decision not to name another elected MP for the role after the party rejected Prime Minister Lawrence Wong's invitation to do so. WP Chief Pritam Singh was removed from the role after he was convicted of lying to a parliamentary committee. PMO said the leader of the main opposition party is ordinarily the natural choice for the position, but called this an exceptional situation given Mr. Singh's criminal conviction and Parliament's decision that he is unsuitable to continue. The PMO also noted that in other jurisdictions, members convicted of crimes involving dishonesty or lying under oath would typically have resigned, but that has not happened. WP's Central Executive Committee says it is, quote, unable to accept the invitation as the party has its own established processes for electing leadership. It holds the view that the only tenable candidate for the LO position would be an MP who is leader of the largest opposition party in Parliament, and in this case, the WP. Mr. Singh remains as the WP's Secretary General. PM Wong had removed him from the LO position last week after Parliament backed a motion that found him unsuitable for the role. The motion also stated that for Mr. Singh to remain in that role, it would undermine the standing of Parliament and public confidence in the integrity of Singapore's political system. It also expressed regrets at his conduct, calling it, quotes, dishonourable and unbecoming of an MP. Mr. Singh was convicted in February last year for lying to a parliamentary committee over the case of former MP Raisa Khan. He was fined 14,000 Singapore dollars. The High Court later dismissed Mr. Singh's appeal against his conviction. Well, to discuss this further, we have with us Associate Professor Eugene Tan from the School of Law at SMU. Professor, thanks for joining us today. Now, WP, of course, the leader, they've said that the leader of the largest opposition party in Parliament is by default the leader of the opposition. And yet, as far as the government is concerned, this is an official role that is appointed by the Prime Minister and obviously can be taken away. So what's going on here? What's the point of the argument?
Well, Keith, this is the battle of conflicting narratives. The WP is certainly right, that in normal circumstances, and that's the emphasis, in normal circumstances, the leader of the largest opposition party would be the leader of the opposition. And so that happened in 2020 after the general election. It happened after the 2025 general election, even though, we were all aware that Mr. Singh had this conviction, but he was appealing, and I think the Prime Minister was right, to let the appeal process, take its course. But we also have, in this particular situation, in an office like the leader of opposition, which is relatively new, the Prime Minister taking the position, that it is important, for the leader of opposition, to be to have certain standards, right? Particularly in terms of conduct. And here we have a situation in which, the conviction in a court of law, the concern is that, it would undermine, trust and confidence.
And the integrity, of course.
And of course, integrity of Parliament. Right. So I think here, you have this situation, where clearly the Workers' Party is not, going along, with, PM's view of how the office ought to evolve.
Right. Now, this office then remains vacant. What happens actually then on a day-to-day basis in Parliament? Who gets first reply? Who gets, extra speaking time? What happens to the staffing of the office? What are some of the implications then of leaving this spot vacant?
Well, I think, in terms of parliamentary sittings, I think what we're quite clear is that, we wouldn't have, the Workers' Party, having more time, to be able to respond, to the minister when it comes to motions or bills. They would also not have the first right of response, right? So in a way, over the last 6 years, I think people have come to wait for, the leader of opposition, to rise up and to respond. There's a lot of anticipation. So I think, they will miss, that ability, to capture people's attention. I think in terms of the loss of resources, whether it's legislative assistance, that may not be apparent in Parliament, but I think, when you have resources to hire legislative assistants, to do research, to prepare speeches and all, I think that's something, that will be missed. I mean, it is not a mortal blow, right? But I think, it would reduce, the capability
and the opportunity
of the Workers' Party
to bring up some of their points.
Oh, definitely, right? The ability to be able to amplify their views, the ability, I would say, to shape how the Leader Opposition office develops. Right. And I think, there is a possibility that, Mr. Pritam Singh will no longer, be seated across the aisle directly opposite the Prime Minister.
Right. And of course, we understand that the even leader of the opposition in this official capacity does receive confidential briefings, by the government on select matters of national security. Would they also be losing such opportunities?
Oh, definitely, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if there were no such briefings in the past, because I don't think the situation warranted it. But certainly, without this office, this access, this privilege, to have more information, will no longer be there as well.
Right. Now, how does this decision by the WP in a way then hurt Singaporeans, especially those who want stronger checks in Parliament?
I think it is a missed opportunity by the Workers' Party. I think that the position, the Prime Minister moved from a principled position, right? It was important, I think, in his view, to uphold the high standards, of members of Parliament, in particular, the leader opposition. So what was said in Parliament last week would apply equally to PAP MPs as well as the political office holders. I think it's a missed opportunity because, this is an opportunity to demonstrate to Singaporeans, that there is a need for the opposition, and that not only that, the opposition does play an important role in our system of parliamentary government. Right. So to me, the WP may think that, they have taken a very principled stance, but I think, they have undermined, the development of a balanced parliament, which is really their quest. Right. Because I think, they need to recognize, that this is a setback which they have brought upon themselves, but they shouldn't forget, the bigger prize, which is really, to show the Singaporeans that there is a need for a more balanced parliament.
Do you believe that, more pressure now on specific Workers' Party MPs will come into play, to lead some debates, coordinate the strategy, and to fill that gap, pretty much?
Well, I don't really see a gap, in that. I think we can expect Mr. Pritam Singh, to continue, to take the lead. He will not obviously have the prominence because the Speaker doesn't have to go to him first. It could be another MP, from the ruling party, or it could also be another Workers' Party MP. So I think, that opportunity, to raise the profile, not just of the leader of opposition, but the opposition in general, the ability, to show, that the opposition has that vital role. I think these are really missed opportunities. And it's something that I think, will be a setback, in terms of our system of government, but right. I think ultimately the WP has brought it upon themselves.
All right. Thank you very much for those insights there. Associate Professor Eugene Tan there from SMU.